Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very wet Rwagnation League F2 Grand Prix here in Japan. I'm Ben Raggy McConnell, and joining me for the first time in RNL history, it's Safso. How you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How about yourself?
I'm very well. I mean, much better than the rain, let's be honest, because, I mean, it's coming down pretty hard. I think we might actually see straight to wet tires looking at it. I can't see a great deal of standing water, but the rain is coming down pretty heavy, which would suggest they may have to. Now, the setup will obviously make a massive difference here. Those guys that have chosen to go for a wet setup will actually benefit the most, but no one really will practice for the wet conditions. We'll see now who actually is going to make it onto the top step. But Safso, who is your prediction for pole position today?
Well, I would usually go with Piloto, but seeing as it's wet, I'm not actually sure who to go with. Currently up there is Rwagnation and Chenje. I hope I'm saying that correctly. So actually, I would say, especially as Piloto's not really up there at the moment, unless the timing's a glitch, I'd have to say probably Rwagnation is my favourite for pole at the moment.
I mean, that's a fair shout. He is a very good driver in these F2 conditions. F2 cars. And in these conditions, he really starts to shine through. He quite often is heavy-footed on the accelerator, although right now he's looking pretty tame and controlled, and this is really, really quite exceptional to see. Piloto's still with him, though. You know, this is still easy to change any opportunity. He's got purple sector 1, obviously. Rwagnation currently leading around. Piloto, I'm expecting to be a very close match for Rwagnation, but I have seen him in the wet conditions in the past. Piloto does crumble. That's the other thing, you know. And if we got a wet Grand Prix, don't expect to see Piloto leading away from this. He may not actually be as strong as you think. And Rwagnation, Beaker even actually. Beaker is probably the most consistent wet racer I've seen in a long time when it comes to these F2 cars. So bear in mind, he might actually be on pole position today.
It's very possible, of course. Consistency is very important in the wet. But at the moment, currently running third, fighting Chenje at the moment, and as important as consistency is, in qualifying, the outright pace is slightly more important as Hayden Gullis has retired Rwagnation with the fastest middle sector, so it looks like it's going to be between Rwagnation and Piloto heading into last chicane.
Beaker and Chenje swapping places. Aviator falling down a little bit as well. He's gone down to P6, but Rwagnation needs to get the exit of Dreams out of here, otherwise Piloto could snatch this back. I think Rwagnation has done enough to secure the 4 points. Yes, he has. With Piloto finishing in second, it's Beaker losing out to Chenje as Chenje crosses the line in third. Beaker fourth, Aviator fifth, and we'll get the rest of the rundown in just a momento. Vinkapix has been DQ'd, Jeb has been DQ'd, and we saw Hayden also get DQ'd as well. Now, Hayden is actually someone who does struggle in the wet conditions. He's self-confessed this a lot. We'll see. But anyway, Rwagnation on pole by just over a tenth. In second is Piloto. Chenje quite a way out there in P3, then Beaker, then Aviator in P5. Roshko P6, Landos Millman P7, Toto P8 with Foxy in P9, Tianamo running out the top 10, and Hardy getting best of the rest with Raymond Duck in P12, Burrito Bandito P13, and then the remainder of the drivers all DQ'd through either invalidations, by maybe cutting corners, extending track limits, or going off into walls and retiring. However, it will be Jeb, Vinkapix, Marquez, and then Hayden in that order. So you've seen the caller results. You've seen how they can handle in the wet conditions. Obviously, we'll wait until we get into the race before I ask you the important question. I have to ask every single time I commentate. It's just a thing I have to do. But I really want to know what your 1, 2, 3 is. Wait for the weather first, though. It's dry. What's your 1, 2, 3? Give me it. Give me the 1, 2, 3. Who's on the podium for you? Who's winning this race?
In terms of winning this race, that's very difficult, because obviously you said Piloto struggles more on the wet, and if it's dry, that could very well favour him. But of course, we've got to remember Beaker and Chenje, they were second off in the wet, but this is not wet, so they could definitely be up there as well. But in terms of top step, I think I'll stick with my guns. I think I'll stick with Piloto for the win. I think Rwagnation is going to fight him. I think he's going to end up second. And there's going to be a scrap between Beaker and Chenje for third. And I know Beaker is good around this track. I fought with him for a win once. But yeah. I'm saying, actually, I'm going to pull a wild card. I'm going to say Aviator for the third step on the podium.
All right, no, fair play. I will watch you for this. I mean, Aviator has got pace. He just lacks the consistency, and quite often on a track like this, where if you're even slightly inconsistent, it will chew you up, spit you out, and throw you off into a wall, which you definitely can't afford. I think it is very much a fight between Bottas Gang and Piloto for the P1-2, but I've not seen Chen-Jay drive these F2 cars. I don't think I've ever seen him drive these F2 cars, so I know what he's like in the F1 cars, and this guy is crazy. He's so fast. So I wouldn't be surprised if he is ahead of everybody when it comes to that. However, we're not in the F1 cars, we're in the F2s, and that's the area where, you know, the cars are way heavier. They don't brake anywhere near as good as the F1 cars. The accelerations out of corners are very odd because if you even tap it just a little bit too much on the throttle, you will absolutely rotate the car, and you definitely don't want that to happen. Is that Foxy I've just seen just tearing it through the field? Yeah, it is. Foxy really wants to get this race underway.
It would certainly appear that way. Pretty much ahead of everyone else, I think, so I wonder if he's just doing that to get some temperature in his tyres and then he'll fall back later on. He seems to just be rushing to the grid at the moment. I don't quite know what he's up to.
Hayden's in the same boat. Like, he's actually passing people as well. He's all the way up now into what would be P3 if this was how it was fair enough. Now he's P2. So clearly the Campos Racing team very eager to get themselves back in this. But look at the tyres. They're all mediums across the board. There are no alternate tyre strategies here. So they'll all be taking the tyres right the way to the end no matter what they go on to. It's just whether or not they're going to be able to be consistent enough in terms of tyre management to avoid burning any tyres into the dirt and losing a lot of pace. I've yet to see anybody get a puncture in these F2 cars, but that doesn't mean that it isn't going to happen. Bottas Gang will be leading the start of this race no matter what, but is he going to be leading when we get in towards turn 1? That crucial right-hander can really play a massive part when it comes to this race.
Yeah, indeed, especially around the outside. Keeping the car around the outside of someone is very difficult. We'll have to see what happens.
Right, then Bottas Gang will be leading with Piloto hunting him down as the lights are on here in Japan for the RNL F2 feature race. It's go time, and Bottas Gang's been caught sleeping. Piloto's just charging on by, and watch Bottas Gang just fall down the order as everybody's cruising on past him. It's a massive 3-wide incident situation going in towards turn 1. Piloto leading, Beaker trying to get down the inside, and there's Chen-Jay as well going round the outside. A little bit on the grass, a little bit of contact, a little bit of a shaky moment for both of them, but somehow they keep it clean, and Beaker is sticking his nose in. Chen-Jay has run off onto the grass. That's made him lose a couple of places as Bottas Gang recovers to P3. Roshko into P4 now. Chen-Jay falling to P5.
Yeah, and actually behind them, Aviator had some contact with Bottas Gang. I think there's been more contact. Burrito Bandito has fallen to the back of the grid for Aviator about, I believe, 5 seconds behind the rest of the grid. Just a bit of contact with Bottas Gang after the first corner, and that's put him way down.
Rimduck's gone off the circuit. Hardy F1 has just been pit maneuvered by Jeb there. Unfortunate. I think it was unintentional by the looks of things. It just looked like it was trying to keep himself on the inside, and it ended up going terribly wrong. Who is that? Is that TNMO? Yes, it is. That was a big slam into the wall on the inside there, coming out of the hairpin. Things have gone seriously wrong for them. TNMO's retired from the session. He says no thank you. Toto and Foxy are going side by side. They're keeping it clean through Spoon, although Toto's ran very wide. Almost can get the cutback if he can get the run through the corner. Foxy still charging away, but Toto's so much faster. Down the inside he goes and in towards 130R. I don't think Toto can get this done. He's going to have to get alongside of him by the time they get into the corner. And it looks like Foxy's got that one nicely protected.
He could still go for it at the chicane, though. Has he broke late enough? No, he hasn't. Lando's Milkman gets a 3-second time penalty. Something's happened up ahead. They're very close.
Yeah.
Lando's Milkman, Roshko, and Chen-Jay.
Watch Lando's here. He's actually trying to find a way down the inside of Roshko in towards turn 1. If he can find that gap and lock Roshko out, he may also get... Oh, no! That's contact! Big mistake there from Lando's. Has sent him very wide off on the turn 1. Almost into the wall. Keeps himself out of it. Keeps himself still with an intact wing, but that could have been severe, severe problems.
As Roshko has actually retired from the session now, as did TNMO after his hairpin incident. Hayden Gullis has come into the pits for soft tyres. I don't know whether the other two have pitted will as well. I think Vigpix has gone on to fresh set mediums. Ambriso Bandito, I can't actually tell, but it looks like softs. I could be wrong.
Yep,
but it is soft.
Yep.
It is soft.
Good spot. So the battle now for race lead is between 3 cars, albeit right now it looks like it's between one, because Piloto's got a nice little gap. Bottas Gang is on the back of Beaker. who's in P2 currently. Chen J is quite the way off here for a battle for P4. He's still there with Foxy hunting him down. This could be great for Foxy if he can secure a nice P4 going into the first race, and then into the second one he can then carry that momentum even further. But Tortor's here too. Remember, this is still a 3-car battle for P4. Anything can happen.
Yep, as Tortor has another good run into 130R. This time he's actually going to go for it. Alongside, are they going to keep the space? And he backs out actually. But Foxy's had a bad exit. They're really trying to get the position over each other. I believe Tortor's just gone a bit too far into the chicane. He's getting very squirmy. And Foxy actually stays ahead, but that was very interesting. I didn't know he was going to come out in front.
I don't think they even knew, to be honest. And Lando's lost the car. Off into the wall he goes on the home straight. More damage on the right-hand side of his car. That is not good news for him. Burrito Bandito's retired from the session. That looks like it was just purely driver error. There is still a scrap going on for P7. Remember, this is Jeb, Aviator, and Marquez. Marquez kind of just sitting on the back of it, just watching to see what happens. If anybody should make a mistake, he will lap it up and just run away and take those valuable points. And remember, P8 will start on P1 when he comes into the sprint race. They'll be following this race very shortly.
Yeah, of course, that 8th place swap is very important, so Marquez will want to catch up to these two as quickly as possible as Aviator's gone past Jeb now. Can Jeb respond into the next couple corners? No, he doesn't. Does he have ring damage? Because he went very wide into there. It doesn't look like, with that split, Marquez right onto the back of him. He's going to be looking for a very good exit off of this hairpin to try and capitalize.
There's a mistake and a half there from Jeb that caused him to run off wide into the gravel, losing a lot of momentum there. Still protects himself from Marquez, but that gap now that he's got between Aviator and himself is just a little bit too much. No DRS available to him as he's outside of the 1-second margin. When you go back to this battle for P5, which we saw was quite violent earlier, you know, they were very close to each other, especially into the 130R. They're going to be doing the same thing again. I think Foxy just can't seem to get the run out of the second part of Spoon. That's allowing Tortor to just get into the toe already anyway, and then carry that pace forward in towards 130R. This time it's going to be a little bit wide. Hayden gets a penalty for multiple warnings. That'll be corner cutting and extending track limits. And lock up for both of these. Foxy also, he cuts that entrance to the final chicane a bit too much. Will a bump destabilize either of them? It will not, but we will see DRS attack here from Tortor as Beaker and Bottas gang swap places.
Yeah, Bottas gang, I believe, got that move done on the straight as Tortor has got past. Oh, very close, so I think there was a bit of contact. And
I think they're alright. I don't think they've got any damage either, which is, you know, great for both of them. They can continue this battle as it has been raging so far. Foxy, though, yeah, like you said, will fall to P6, but he will have DRS on the next run round.
Indeed, as Marquez still quite close to Jeb, though I think he's actually lost a bit of ground in the rest of last lap. Lando's Milton gets a penalty. I don't know if that was as he went into the pit lane or not. Hardy currently staying in 10th. Not many too close battles at the moment. Fox is kind of dropped off from Tortor now. So really, I think Marquez and Jeb fighting for 8th position. That's going to be the fight to watch for now, as everyone's sort of a second apart in terms of the closer battles.
Yeah, and then after that, it gets quite extended as well. Look at that.
Jeb actually made a mistake heading into that hairpin, clipping the grass alive. That's let Marquez catch her massively. Now heading into the hairpin. Yeah, he's got the slipstream, but he's just not really catching much, is he?
No, he's really not. You can see the pace is just really awkward for these drivers right now. Currently, Jeb is out there ahead. I'm seeing a yellow flag, but I'm not seeing what's causing it. Everything looks... Go on.
Sorry, Hardy went wide at the hairpin, that's what caused it.
Ah, okay, that would explain it. Jeb just getting a bit on the grass there will actually slow him down a little bit. And again, will slow him down even more. Marquez might actually be able to go for a move in towards the chicane if he gets alongside of him, but I think he's going to take the safe route, which is just sit back, bide your time, and get that DRS, especially if Jeb runs deep into that chicane, and Marquez read that, sees an opportunity, goes a little bit hard into the side of Jeb and gets wing damage as a result of that contact. Will still get DRS if he should choose. There he goes, he activates it now. Not in the toe, though. Could use that to hopefully slingshot his way in towards turn 1. Jeb getting on the grass again, and Jeb once more getting on the grass, actually, but he's still doing well to hold P8. This is important for him.
Yeah, absolutely, and you know, him going on grass, that just means he's really trying to push it with the track limits, just really making absolutely every use out of the track that he can get, not leaving any space hurt. It's actually Aviator very close to Foxy now. Can he get a move done? He's got a very good run out of the uphill left-hander. Can he go for it? Going on the inside. No, has to back out. Foxy looks like he would have closed the door anyway. It's a green flag showing, so I don't know if that's permanent or from a yellow flag. But Aviator, he's actually very close to Foxy now, and that's going to be a fight to watch.
Yeah, this is very, very spicy. The exit here is going to be so crucial for Foxy. If he gets this and secures a run in towards Spoon, he should be okay. But they get about the same exit, which means now there's a problem. The Raven Duck has lost it as well on the home straight, and that's allowed the Red Landos to get through. He has retired, but Avia's trying to get down the inside of Spoon. He just couldn't get the pace, but look how much Tortor slowed up. Something's gone wrong with Tortor that's allowed Foxy and Aviator to close in. This is now what was about for P6. Oh, there's contact between Aviator and to the back of Foxy. I don't know if he expected him to be that slow, but he's actually still alongside of him. Foxy is literally wheel to wheel with him. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep it alongside the whole time. He actually has to run wide due to that little tight left-hander. I said little, it's very hard, tight left-hander. There's the battle for race leader as well. Piloto's made mistakes too, and this allowed Bottas Gang to literally be in the gearbox of Piloto's car.
Yeah, and actually, as to why Tortor was so much closer in front of Aviator and Foxy, he actually went wide before Spoon went onto the grass, which cost him a couple seconds, which is now why Aviator is within a second. Foxy slightly deviating from them, as Beak actually also got a 2-second penalty, so he's more or less out of the running for this fight for the win, unless the top 2 get a penalty as well. Piloto really not being kind to the track at the moment. That must have been a warning at least. And now Bottas Gang, I did say these two would be fighting for the win, and after Bottas Gang's poor start, he has made a very good recovery.
Yeah, he had a rough start, didn't he? Let's be honest. It was a very, very delayed reaction to lights going out. Everybody passed him. He fell down to P6. Yeah, in the same lap, he recovered to P3 again and was actually starting to love life once more on the circuit. I'm seeing a hell of a battle going on further down the field. What is that? Is that Foxy and Marquez and Jeb? It is. Foxy's had a mistake. That's forced him to go all the way down the order. He's had contact there with Jeb, which has given him a penalty. He's got wing damage as well to boot. Look at that. Left wing is just in bits. He's got no elements on the left-hand side, no end play as well to go with it. Marquez and Jeb, they're having a little battle too. Marquez trying to take the outside line in towards what will be Spoon in a second. I don't think he can really take the inside here because it's just going to push the other driver offside. And we saw in the official F1, I think it was last year or the year before, was it Vettel and Verstappen had a contact moment?
I believe that was last year, yeah.
It was a very close fight, and it ended up being Vettel just going a bit too hard on the inside, and then pop off went Verstappen. We haven't seen it this time around. Marquez did decide I should probably not do that, and backed out, but Jeb not maintaining pace through there. That was an opportunity for Marquez, should he have wanted to go for it, and into the final chicane we go.
Yeah, and actually, if I was Marquez, I really wouldn't be actually pushing too hard for this unless he really wants the extra points, because he's in 8th. Foxy 4 seconds behind with damage as well. Marquez doesn't need to risk anything here. He'll be signing a pole if he finishes 8th, but he's going on the inside anyway in turn 1, backs out again. So it does indeed appear as if he's got his head screwed on right. He's like, no, I've got this position. If I stay here on starting pole, I don't need to risk ruining my race. So he's definitely taking the smart and calm approach to this, which I like to see.
Yeah, very good heads-up driving there from Marquez to keep himself very mentally focused on the end goal. You know, like you said, you want to start P8. You want to finish this race in P8 if you've got an option for P7 or P8, because you'll start in race lead when we go into the sprint race right after this race is finished. Right now, though, it's going to be Bottas Gang who's going to be looking really good when it comes to the points positions. He started off on pole, which means he gets 4 points for the one-shot qualifying. He also gets 2 points additional in his race right now because he currently sits on the fastest lap of the session. And if he gets P2, he's going to be looking so good to fight Piloto right the way to the end of this weekend, but it is going to be a very close battle throughout the whole of the sprint race. Again, Jeb and Marquez really going toe-to-toe. Jeb's still holding Marquez back, or is Marquez biding time? I think no, he's not this time. We're seeing him go down the inside in Spoon. He's getting a little bit on the curb there, but I think he might actually still get the exit he needs in order to secure the job as Jeb goes off into the gravel and will end up conceding that position. But look at race leaders. We need to quickly get up there because Bottas Gang and Piloto, they are very close together, and we're on the final lap. This is going to be a non-stop battle to the end, I think.
Yep. And actually, Aviator and Tortor are very close together. The two, I believe they are teammates, getting very close into turn 1. Is there going to anything result there? No. So it is looking like the battle for the lead and the battle for 5th between the two teammates will be very interesting to see And Bolesgang, he just needs the exit. If he can get a really good exit, either out of this hairpin or out of Spoon, he has a very, very good chance of taking the win if he wants it. Because as you say, if he finishes in second, then he'll actually start ahead of Piloto and maybe get the win in the sprint race.
Yeah, but you want it in this race because you get so many more points. You know, if he gets the win here in this feature race, he'll get 25 points, as well as the 2 points that he's going to get from the fastest lap for the session. But additionally, he's got the 4 points from the one-shot qualifying. Means he's going to be so much further ahead than Piloto. If Piloto can hold P1 throughout the rest of this lap and fit across the line in that position, then he's going to be in a pretty equal position to Bottasgang, which means it's all going to matter about that sprint race. So Bottasgang needs this more than Piloto does, I think, but he has to brake hard in towards the chicane. It's a beautiful send there for Bottasgang. Piloto's looking for the exit of dreams. Who can get the better run? It looks like Piloto's going to get it. Round the outside through the final corner onto the grass. Who's going to cross the line? They crash! Oh! But they do make it to the line. Piloto will take the win. Bottasgang will take P2. Beaker gets the third step of the podium. That was always going to stay the same due to the penalties. And then Chenje will take P4. Toto and Aviator, they're having a similar battle as well. There's a corner cut there from Aviator, is that? Yes, it was. And I don't know who's got the most penalties.
Oh, he's lost it! He's out!
Oh, did he crash into the pit wall? Did he hit the pit wall?
He spun and hit the pit wall.
Oh, no! There he is! Oh no, Aviator, you had everything so well. And that's actually weirdly looked out massively there for Foxy, because he doesn't know it yet. As he comes to the finish line, he's going to cross and take P8, and we'll actually start the next race in P1.
That is...
He's not. Howdy, Will.
Yes. But still, that's one nuts. Hell of an ending.
That final lap, literally the final few corners, was just chaos. I mean, Piloto and Bottasgang, first of all, Piloto getting the... Well, Bottasgang sending it into the final chicane, manages to get the move done, and then brings himself back into an attack position. Piloto then gets the exit he needs out of the chicane to run around the outside of the final corner. And it looks like he's got it. Gets onto the grass, has a mistake, goes over towards Bottasgang. They hit each other towards the inside wall. They both still make it to the end of the line, but that was insane how close that was. Let's have a look now at the point rundown after you can see who finished where and how. Piloto gets the win, so he gets the 25 points. Bottasgang gets P2, and he also gets the fastest lap, so he's in total got 20 points from just this one race. Beaker in P3 gets 15. He's also had 7 seconds of penalties. That's not like Beaker very often on the F2 cars. Chenje getting P4. Toto getting P5. Marquez getting P6. Jeb in 7th. Hardy in 8th. He'll also be the person who starts on pole for the next race. With Foxy there in 9th. Vinkapix in 10th. Hayden getting Best of the Rest award. With Landos in 12th. And the DNF. Actually, I think he DNF, didn't he, Landos? Did he DNF? No, he finished. Well. Aviator, Raymond, Burrito, Roshko, and Tianamo are your DNFers of this race. So in terms of the weekend positions, look at this. Look how close they are. Because of the points that Bottasgang's accrued through being quick in the qualifying and in the race itself, he's got 24 points in total, only 1 point behind Piloto. So this is going to be a very close fight when it comes to this sprint race, which is, remember, it's a 25% sprint race, so it's about 5-6 laps in comparison to what you saw before. You know, this is all to play for.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say a shout out to Marquez. He started 16th and finished 6th. That is very impressive to be able to do. It's actually a bit cloudier for the second race. I obviously don't think it will rain. It's only 5 laps or so. So
yeah, I think it's 5-6 laps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we never know. You might see it. I currently can't see. Well, there's a bit of blue sky top left, but it's literally very faint. So we might see it change. Who knows? It has had crazier moments before where we have actually had to transition from the dry tires to the wets in these F2 cars. We'll see how that pans out later. However, the formation lap for the sprint race is underway. Hardy will be leading us away. The other Univirtuoso teammate is going to be there too in P2. Marquez P3, Toto P4, Chenje P5, Beaker P6, Bottasgang P7, and Piloto P8. Now, there's still lots to play for the likes of Foxy, Vinkapix, and Hayden, as they can still make their way through the pack, but they need to make sure they don't get caught up in incidents that happen on circuit.
Yeah, is very important because as we saw in that last race, it doesn't matter what point in the race you're in, you're always susceptible to either making a mistake in hitting the pit wall or having a collision with another driver. So to finish first you must finish. I think that's what they definitely have to keep reminding themselves of. And actually, remember, Marquez starting P3, he definitely wasn't a slouch in that race, so could we see him mixing up with the top guys, or is he going to crumble under the pressure, as I believe we have? Is that Foxy and Hayden going up again?
They're doing it again. I think they're having like their own personal little battle when it comes to formation lap, and there's Hayden getting squeezed off. They're not. These guys are not expecting. Oh no, he's been reset to the track. Oh, that's unfortunate.
I thought that would have been too good to be true.
I think what's happening, I may be wrong, but I think what's happening, I think Foxy and Hayden are in the same voice chat and having a little battle with each other in the formation laps to see who can get to the start line first. Foxy obviously wins this one. I think he won the last one as well, actually. So it's 2-0 for Foxy. Well done him.
Well, I mean, technically, Hayden's already there, so has he really won?
Oh my...
I believe we just saw the same thing at the same time.
We did. Foxy says, what chicane? And just goes straight across it. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't actually crash out there. That was about to be very... I mean, yeah, the AI takes over. But still, that was quite interesting.
As the rest of the grid is coming up. Actually, is that Raven Duck way behind everyone else? Is that purposeful, or did he have a mistake on the formation app? I would very much like to know.
He struggles in these F2 cars. I don't know if it's just the massive torque that they get in the very low gears, but I think he needs to just control his right foot a little bit. He's a truck driver in real life, so he's obviously going to have a bit more of a heavier foot, but still, it needs to fix itself a little bit when it comes to these F2 cars, just to try and keep that rear of this F2 car under control. However, we are about to get underway with the final race in the F2 cars. Shortly after, we will move over to the F1s, but it's going to be Hardy and Jeb leading us away here in Japan. And it's go time for the final time, and that's Marquez getting caught down there. He's bogged down massively. That's a big smash there. I think Beaker ran into the back of Marquez, did he? Or was that Piloto, potentially? It wasn't Piloto, it might be Chenje.
I thought it was Beaker from him, but I could be wrong. Someone definitely got damage on that there. It was Chenje.
Yeah. Oh, Foxy! Yeah. Oh, Foxy Marquez have a moment, and Marquez gets squeezed off a little bit, and he's gone right off the circuit, but he's brought himself back and still held on to P9. Foxy up to P6, looking to close in even further on anybody else ahead of him, which is Jeb, Piloto, Beaker, and everyone else. But look at the position gains that Piloto's had. Bottasgang could not replicate the same thing. He has managed to get past Chenje, albeit just for now. I don't think he's going to be losing that position again, but he has got a lot of cars ahead of him that he has to slip by.
Yeah, Bottasgang is not going to be happy to see Piloto 3 places above him when he's still a point behind. There's a yellow flag, as I believe that's Burrito Bandito, who has gone round.
Yeah.
Don't know if that was an incident on something else, as something's gone up near the front. Is that Marquez or Raven Duck who's gone round? It's Marquez!
I think it's Marquez, yeah. But also, look at Bottasgang. He's just got the exit of dreams he needed out of the hairpin. He's alongside Foxy, coming in to spoon. Foxy's ran deep into the back of Jeb. Hardy's ran off wide as well. This is an opportunity for Bottasgang to get a couple of places here, but he can't let Piloto run away. He has to go for it. Here's the position on Jeb about to be taken. He gets the exit he needs. Jeb still sticking it to him, and they are coming into a very difficult area to go too wide in. Bottasgang knows that and says, I'll back out for now. I'll bide my time. I'll wait it out and see what happens later on. But I will have to worry about this bit. He's done it again. This is the braking zone he did earlier in the feature race, where he managed to send it into the chicane. He managed to get the position. I think he's done the same thing again here, and this time it doesn't result in him getting any carnage into the inside wall. He does end up getting that position.
Yep, and Hardy had a bad exit through the chicane, so he might be vulnerable after still double right-handers. There's an action-packed battle for the lead going on ahead. I think that was Beaker going very wide. But now Piloto already on the back of the top two. Bottasgang still all over the back of Hardy. And I think Bottasgang's actually lining up Hardy, just making him go to the lines he wants him to go to. Is he going to really try and get there's a bit of contact? But he has made the move.
What a
and that's
move.
Chenje there to snap it up from Hardy as well. So Hardy about to lose 2 places in one corner. I think he is. Yep, he's had to back out of that. And now Bottasgang only 1 position behind Piloto, but he is right behind these top 2. As Beaker... Oh,
Yeah, they almost hit each other there going in towards the hairpin. There was a tiny bit of contact, but it was nothing too severe. No damage on either car. However, this has allowed Piloto to get right onto the gearbox here for Beaker. Beaker's going to have to keep his eyes both forwards and backwards as the two BWT cars have a little touch, it looks like, and Ravenduck has fallen back a little bit further. Burrito Bandito still there too. He's not lost out too much. Can still get himself back into this. But this battle for P1, 2, and 3 looks like it's not going to be over anytime soon. And look at the battle that's down behind. There is a huge gaggle of cars together. Jack's involved in this. Ivier's there too. Lando's Milman, Foxy. So many cars all stacked up.
Oh!
There can very easily be a crash.
Tortok gone into the wall. He's out. At the last chicane, he had contact with Beaker.
Oh, Jeb! There is carnage. There is a lot of carnage. Jeb's just gone into the side of car as well. That was also Aviator who's lost control too. Torto is out through mistakes made. Rain is here, by the way, which is also going to be playing havoc on these cars. Piloto is with Beaker, trying to attack him too. There's still a massive battle going on from sort of P6 onwards. Look at it all the way down as Roshko's gone deep in towards turn 1, losing the rear a touch, and he's brought it back, but he's lost a lot of positions. Hayden into P10 now, looking for Vinkapix, who's also staring down the back of Lando's Milman, and you can just see this train is about to get very awkward going through this race.
Indeed, as Bodas Gang all over the back of Chenjay. He's got a good run up the left-hander. Can he go round the outside? He has been able to. Chenjay with that damage just not being able to defend. Peloso now chasing Beaker down. I wonder if he'll be a bit scared about what happened to Tortor earlier, as Rainduck has come in for the full wet tyres. So we'll wait and see what his lap times are like. But Peloso is the main contender for this win at the moment. If he can get past Beaker, he will not be tough. Sorry, will be tough to overtake. But of course, Bodas Gang 2.5 seconds behind. Wait and see if he can catch up to these two.
Marquez and Jeb having a little side-by-side battle as well through the hairpin. They've come wide, and Jeb's been thrown to the wall. There was contact. I don't know who caused the contact, but Jeb is the one who loses out either way, and will fall a little bit further back than he was before. Also, along with Aviator. Keep an eye out for this battle ahead as well, because Vinkapix is right here on the back of Lando's Milkman. I'm not sure what Lando's has got in terms of responses here. There's also a very tight battle up ahead between Jack and Foxy. Jack goes deep in towards the corner, gets a penalty as well for his troubles. There's a mistake made there from Vinkapix, it looks like. Coming up towards Lando's Milkman. And we're still not seeing any real position changes for this battle for P6. P5.
Peloso and Beaker, meanwhile, the win, I don't know if they went fully side-by-side or nearly side-by-side, but came very close in turn 1. Roshko's coming to the pits presumably for wet tyres, as Vinkapix has as well. And I believe Hardy's had a bit of an incident in turn 1. Vinkapix is out, so he's actually retiring.
Yeah.
But Peloso, sorry, go on.
No, that's fine, okay.
Peloso still on the back of Beaker, though he's lost a bit through that little S section, so maybe just struggling a bit with the wet conditions. You've got to wonder whether anyone will come in for a sort of last lap gasp on those wet tyres, but I personally wouldn't think so. Surely it's too late to put some wet tyres on, especially if the majority of the field has stayed on softs. Though having said that, everyone is really struggling with traction at the moment.
But I don't think it's yet time for the wet tyres. It looks still too dry, personally. I'm not seeing really any rain on the circuit, although everybody is struggling, like you said. Foxy and Jack having a little moment through the hairpin there. Jack ran very deep into the hairpin. Foxy couldn't quite get the exit he needs in order to achieve anything more than what he's got currently, but this is still anybody's game. This is still not over, and you also need to pay attention to Bottas Gang, because he's closing in on this battle for P1, and he needs to be ahead of Piloto. No matter where Piloto finishes, Bottas Gang has to be ahead of him, if he is to get the whole weekend win, that is. And in terms of the actual fastest lap, currently that's with Beaker, and now the rain is here. I don't think anybody can beat that, but I don't know who's got penalties here out this top 3.
I can actually check the penalties now. Bottas Gang has 2 warnings. Peloso does have a 2-second penalty and 2 warnings. Obviously one of those will apply to playing. See, Beaker doesn't have a single warning. So Beaker's actually the safest here to get the win, but Peloto, if he doesn't pull a miracle out of his hat and get 2 seconds of Bottas Gang, he's going to lose the second place, and Bottas Gang will win overall for the weekend.
Hayden's got himself into points, and Foxy moves himself further up. So this is a great day so far for Campos Racing. It's both in a point-scoring position. I don't think I've actually seen them get that in quite a long time, actually. I also haven't seen them race for a long time, so that would also explain it. Bottas gang, though, very much on the back of Piloto. And I said before how much Piloto struggles in these wet conditions, and he's currently proving me right. As you can see how hard he's fighting the car to keep it on track, but also the fact that he's got penalties, the fact that he has warnings, and the fact that he's probably going to get more, even on this final lap, means that Bottas gang is likely to take the race. Not the race win, but the whole weekend win. I think Beaker's got that one pretty much locked in, even with an extra point. He might surprise us. I think his gap is a bit too far back in order for him to beat these two overall, but here's Bottas gang getting the extra he needs, but not quite enough to get Piloto. Still P3 though. I think ultimately Bottas gang's pretty cozy. Doesn't have to worry too much.
I believe I said he has 2 warnings, so as long as he keeps it on the track and as long as he doesn't spin the car from being maybe too pedal heavy, he should be absolutely fine. Has he got a decent enough exit? Piloto has gone up on the grass. That's going to give Bottas gang the gleam in his eye that he needs. Is he going to go for it in 130 yards? Certainly looking like it. Piloto stays on the outside. Or as he actually keeps it around the outside, goes off track a bit. And it's going to go down again to the last chicane. Can Piloto fight back? Bottas gang's gone a bit deep. I'm not sure that's going to be enough for a fight back. Meanwhile, Beaker will take the win.
Not again! Piloto! Oh. PTSD kicked in there for him. He's like, no, not today. I don't want to crash again. Foxy and Jack, though, they've had a battle and a half, and Foxy is the one who comes out the victor. Or has he? Because Jack is coming, but Foxy will cross the line. P5 for him. Hayden is looking to take P8 after Lando's moment. Oh, he jumps in! P7!
Oh, Hayden!
Consistency is the key, as always, and he knocks himself up to P7 to double up his points. Marquez getting P9, Aviator will cross and take P10, Jeb will make it for P11, hopefully. Yep, he's got that, and Hardy will take P12. Ravenduck, Roshko, and Burrito Bandito all chose to pit for the wet tyres, and it looks like it was the wrong decision to make throughout this race, as they are way off the pack at the minute, 13th, 14th, and 15th. And your 2 DNFers are Vinkapix and Tortor.
Well, these have certainly been action-packed races, haven't they?
Oh, just a tad, yeah. And that's the best part is, it's not even over yet. You know, the F2 cars might be done and dusted, but the F1 cars are about to come in, and you know what they're like. You've got so much resource available when it comes to these overtakes. You've got ERS, you've got fuel, you've got the DRS, the tow. Oh, it's just so exciting to watch how these guys will take it out. And also the aerodynamical grip. You know, you can just chuck yourself into a corner and the car will stick. That's what they're hoping to do later. We'll see as Ravenduck slams it into the wall. Very hard indeed. Roshko coming for P14. And Burrito Bandito will take 15th place. And there it is. That's the Japanese F2 Grand Prix over. So we'll get the roundup in just a second as to exactly who has got what, where, and how. And then shortly after that, we'll be getting underway with a hype video. And you know what's after, that. You know what's after that. The F1 Grand Prix. I'm so excited. I can't even tell you how hyped I am for this. Beaker gets P1, Bottas gang P2, Piloto in P3, and that's the main point scorers. 17, 12, and 10 as Beaker gets the 2 points additional. Chenjay 4th, Foxy in 5th, Jack 6th, Hayden 7th, Landers Millman in 8th, and everyone else scoring 0 points. Again, the DNFs were Vinkapix and Tortor, but when it comes to the weekend results, it is Bottas gang who wins by 1 singular point. That's all he had between him and Piloto. That final chicane was what made the difference between them, but he will secure the win, I think, for the 2nd weekend in a row now for Bottas gang, so very well done to him. Piloto taking 2nd, Beaker in 3rd by just 4 points behind race leader, or the weekend leader, sorry. Chenjay getting 4th, Tortor getting 5th, Marquez getting 6th, Foxy getting 7th, Jeb getting 8th, Hardy getting 9th, Jack getting 10th, Hayden in 11th. Tied for 12th is Vinkapix and Landos with 1-1 each, and then Ravenduck, Roshko, and Bandito with 0 points. Now that's it for the F2 cars. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be doing the F1s in just a moment. Do not go anywhere.